All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling a topic that's, well, it's kind of out there, I'll admit. Reincarnation. But stick with us on this one, even if you're not, totally convinced about past lives and all that.
We're going to ground this deep dive in some fascinating source material.
Exactly. We're going straight to Allan Kardec's The Spirits book,
Specifically, Chapter 5 of Part 2.
where he really delves into this whole idea of the plurality of existences, which is a fancy way of saying, well, reincarnation.
And what makes Kardec's approach so intriguing is that he wasn't just, a mystic sitting in a cave waiting for a vision.
Right, he wasn't just pulling this out of thin air.
This guy was a researcher. He was methodical. He used a very logical approach to explore these big questions.
Almost scientific, you could say.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that he got his insights from, well, spirits.
Hold on, he was talking to spirits.
Yeah, he communicated with them through mediums. It was a whole process.
Wow, okay, so this is already getting interesting. So I guess the first question is, if we've lived all these past lives, why don't we remember any of them?
That's a classic question. And you know what? The spirits actually had a pretty compelling answer for that.
Okay, lay it on me.
They basically said remembering our past lives would be a huge burden.
A burden. I always figured it'd be like having a cheat sheet for life, knowing what to do, who to trust.
Right. Seems like it'd give you a major advantage, right? But the spirits, they saw it differently.
How so?
Imagine carrying around all the baggage, all the mistakes, the heartbreaks, the regrets from every single life you've ever lived.
Oof, yeah, that would be a lot to unpack.
It would be totally overwhelming. It's like trying to learn a new language but constantly translating everything back into your old one. You'd never make any progress.
Makes sense. So it's less about being punished for past deeds and more about having a clean slate to learn and grow.
Exactly. Each new life is a chance to start fresh, to focus on the lessons of that particular existence without being weighed down by, a million past lives.
So what about those people who just seem to be naturally gifted? I mean, you've got kids composing symphonies at 5 years old while the rest of us are still fumbling with our shoelaces.
Yeah, where's the cosmic fairness in that, right?
Exactly.
Well, here's where the idea of soul age comes in. The spirits Kardec was talking to, they suggested that, just like in this life, where we wouldn't expect a toddler to have the wisdom of an elder, our souls also have varying levels of experience.
So you're saying some souls are younger and still learning the basics, while others are older and have, accumulated wisdom from many lifetimes.
Exactly. Those prodigies, those folks who just seem to excel effortlessly, they might just have a bit of a head start because their souls have been around the block a few times. They've already mastered some of those basic lessons.
I never thought of it that way. So those seemingly unfair advantages, they could actually be the result of lifetimes of effort and learning.
It's a different way to look at things, isn't it? And it helps explain not just talent, but also the different challenges people face. Some folks might be wrestling with deep-seated fears or negative patterns from past lives, while others are tackling more advanced lessons about forgiveness, compassion, that kind of thing.
So it's like everyone is on their own unique path, their own soul journey, at their own pace. It's not a competition.
Right, and there's no finish line. And one of the things that really grabbed me about Kardec's work is he didn't shy away from asking those really tough questions. He even tackled the idea of different realms of existence.
Hold on, you're saying it's not just Earth we're coming back to?
Well, according to the spirits, Earth is just one stop on a much larger journey. They talked about other worlds, other dimensions, where souls can experience different levels of spiritual advancement.
So it's like a cosmic travel itinerary. But with all those different realms and lifetimes, it must be hard to keep track of what we're supposed to be learning. Did the spirits offer any guidance on that?
Oh yeah, they definitely did. They stressed that the whole point of reincarnation, the ultimate goal, is spiritual progress.
So it's not just about checking off a bunch of random life experiences, like some kind of cosmic bucket list?
It's deeper than that. It's about becoming better, more loving, more understanding versions of ourselves, evolving towards, a higher state of being.
So there's an actual purpose to all of this. It's not just random chaos.
Exactly. And one of the most important ways we learn and grow through relationships.
So are you talking about soulmates and all that?
Well, Kardec did delve into that, and what the spirits had to say about it was pretty fascinating.
Okay, I'm all ears. This is the juicy stuff.
They suggested that the souls we're drawn to, the ones we feel instantly connected to, whether it's family, friends, or even, those people who just rub us the wrong way.
You mean like that coworker who always steals your lunch from the fridge?
Well, maybe. The point is, those people who really make an impact on us, they're often souls we've shared past experiences with.
So those intense connections, those instant friendships, those love at first sight moments could be echoes of past life relationships.
Exactly. And those soul connections, they can span multiple lifetimes. It's like we're weaving this intricate tapestry together, thread by thread, lifetime by lifetime. It adds a whole new layer of depth to our relationships.
Wow, that really makes you think about the people in your life differently, doesn't it?
Ah.
Like maybe that grumpy neighbor was Roman emperor in a past life or something.
Who knows? Maybe this time around, you're both learning a lesson about patience or acceptance.
That's a much nicer way to think about it. But if we're constantly learning and evolving through relationships, does that mean we get to choose who we encounter in each lifetime? Like, do we have any say in the matter?
That's a great question, and it's one that Kardec explored in detail. And it turns out it's not as simple as picking and choosing, like ordering off a menu. It's more about aligning with what our soul needs to learn.
So it's less about, I want to be a rock star in my next life, and more about, I need to learn about patience and discipline. Maybe a kindergarten teacher would be a good fit.
That's a great analogy. It's about recognizing those areas where our souls need work and then choosing a path that, will provide those opportunities.
But that almost sounds like we have complete control over our circumstances, right?
Yeah.
How does that work with the whole idea of learning through challenges?
Yeah, that's where it gets even more fascinating. The spirits, they explain that while we have a degree of choice, it's not like we're writing the entire script of our next life. There are things we can't control, like the time period we're born into, the family we're born into, those natural talents we come into the world with.
So it's more like choosing a general direction, but not necessarily the specifics of the journey.
Exactly. And that's where the real learning happens, right? And those unexpected twists and turns, those moments where we're forced to confront our limitations and, well, rise to the occasion.
Okay, I'm starting to see how it all comes together. We choose a path based on what our soul needs, but then life throws us a curveball or two just to keep us on our toes.
It keeps things interesting, right?
I'm sure. But it brings up another big question. What about free will? If we're choosing our lives in some way,
Yeah.
doesn't that mean everything's already predetermined? Where does free will fit in?
That's another brilliant question. And Kardec was really interested in that too. And the spirits, they were adamant that free will is absolutely essential to our soul's journey.
So we're not just robots acting out some cosmic script.
Not at all. They said we always have the choice in how we respond to our experiences. Think of it like, I don't know, like we're improvisational actors, right?
Yeah, I like where you're going with this.
We're given a general outline, but we have the freedom to make choices that shape the scene.
And those choices have consequences, right?
Big time. They influence not just our current life, but also our future incarnations.
So every decision we make, every action is shaping our soul's journey, lifetime after lifetime.
Now, that's a powerful thought, isn't it? It makes you think twice about those everyday choices. It's not just about the here and now. We're shaping our future selves with every decision.
Wow, that's heavy. So we've talked about choosing lives, learning lessons, and free will. But one thing I've always been curious about is the whole idea of spiritual relationships. Like soulmates and past life connections.
Oh, yeah, the juicy stuff.
Well, Kardec's research actually lends some weight to that fascination. He asked the spirits about the people who come into our lives, and their answer was really insightful.
And heartwarming, too.
Okay, tell me more.
They said that the souls were drawn to, the ones who feel familiar, the ones who challenge us, the ones we love deeply. Those are often souls we've shared past experiences with.
So those intense connections, those instant friendships, those love at first sight moments could be echoes of past life relationships.
Exactly. And these soul connections, they can span multiple lifetimes, creating this whole web of shared experiences. It's like we're all part of this big cosmic play with different roles and relationships that evolve and transform over time.
Okay, that's a beautiful way to think about it. But it also makes you wonder, what's the purpose of these relationships? Why are we drawn back to the same souls over and over again?
Kardec wondered that too, and the answer he got from the spirits really resonated with me.
I'm intrigued.
They said these relationships are opportunities for growth, for healing, for forgiveness. Sometimes we're drawn to souls we've hurt in the past, so we can learn to make amends, offer compassion.
It's about breaking those karmic cycles.
Exactly. And sometimes we're drawn to souls who have loved and supported us in past lives, who provide that sense of familiarity and comfort. It's a reminder that we're not alone on this journey.
It's like having this soul family that we keep coming back to support each other, learn from each other.
That's the idea. It's all about growth. And that actually brings us to another really interesting point that Kardec explored. The idea of different rates of progress. Some souls just seem to advance faster than others, and Kardec wanted to understand why that is.
Right. It's like some folks are on the spiritual fast track, and others are stuck in a cosmic traffic jam. What gives?
Well, he asked the spirits about it, and they said it all boils down to how we use our free will. Remember how we talked about that earlier?
Yeah, how it's not all predetermined.
Right. They emphasize that we always have a choice in how we respond to the circumstances of our lives, and those choices have a huge impact on our spiritual progress. The souls who seem to be moving ahead more quickly, they've likely cultivated certain qualities over many lifetimes. They've learned to make choices that align with their higher purpose.
So it's not about being born with some kind of spiritual head start. It's about making conscious choices that support our growth.
Exactly. It's all about refinement. Each lifetime gives us another chance to practice, to learn, to course correct. And the more we align with our soul's purpose, the smoother the journey becomes. It's like we're building spiritual momentum.
Makes sense. But with all this talk about spiritual progress, I have to ask, what happens when we finally graduate from the School of Reincarnation? What's the end game here?
The million-dollar question. And to be honest, while Kardec and the spirits offered a lot of insights into reincarnation, that ultimate destination, well, it remains a bit of a mystery.
So no cosmic diploma when we reach enlightenment.
Not exactly, but maybe that's part of the beauty of it. The journey itself, with all its ups and downs, is what really shapes us, refines our souls.
So instead of fixating on the finish line, it's more about savoring the journey, enjoying the ride, trusting that we're always moving in the direction of growth and evolution.
Exactly. And even though that final destination might be shrouded in mystery, the spirits did give some hints about what a more evolved state of being might look like. They talked about a realm of pure love and light, a state of perfect understanding and harmony.
Okay, that sounds pretty amazing. I can see why we'd keep coming back for more, striving for that.
It's definitely a journey worth taking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up our deep dive into reincarnation, I have to say, exploring these ideas with you has been incredible.
It's been my pleasure.
And hopefully, for our listener out there, it sparks some new thoughts, maybe even a little sense of wonder.
Because even though reincarnation can seem vast and kind of overwhelming, there are things we can do right now to make the most of this journey.
Exactly. The spirits were really clear about that. Live a virtuous life, they said. Be guided by love, compassion, service to others. It's the simple things that make a difference.
And remember, you're not alone in this. You've got your own intuition, your spiritual guides, and we can all learn from those who have walked this path before us.
So as we go about our lives, let's remember that every choice, every interaction, every experience, it all has the potential to help us grow. Embrace the journey.
And who knows, maybe you'll start to notice those little hints, those moments of déjà vu, those connections that seem to whisper of a story much bigger than this one lifetime.
The journey of discovery is yours to take.